We need to be together and support each other.
Stay safe. May God bless us. May God protect all of us.
We must pay special attention to our elderly, our sick, and our bedridden.
In times like this, let us show concern for each other and be each other's keeper.
It is at this time that our compassion, generosity, and love as a people must be extended to one another, particularly to the vulnerable.
Good morning and welcome to the resumption of Hurricane Watch. My name is Riani Isidore, and with me, of course, is the astute Michael Gasper. Good morning, St. Lucia. Once again to Hurricane Watch. We're keeping our eyes firmly fixed on Hurricane Beryl. Michael, how was your night?
Bon, il était bon, je dormi bien, merci bon Dieu. Maintenant, après ça, trois net en sommeil, bien dormi, mais fouet. On senti moins bon, nous parlons. Bonjour Saint-Lucie, et puis nous croyons que tout va passer bien. Nous croyons un rapport tout à l'heure, puisque nous, comme rien dit, nous ici pour garder quelle situation. Ça c'est un mauvais temps, et bien cyclone Beryl, nous voulons savoir qui manière il passé, et aussi teasing plus tard nous voulons couiller nous pour nous excusez pour nous tendre rapport entre ces différents coins pays à toutes ces différents communes qui manière bah il a passé des moi bah limo abonné pour ça couiller nous ça c'est 488 4675 encore on va répéter 488 4675.
Now, Michael, I'm a little jealous of you because you said you got some good sleep last night. I slept on my cot. It only allowed me 15 minutes.
Oh.
And I had to figure out some way to pass the time. As you may know, if you've been paying attention to Hurricane Watch over the last several hours, we are at the NEMO headquarters in Bize. We've been here in place all the way going back to 7 o'clock yesterday. And well, we're still here now, and we're going to remain here to provide you with the timely updates as it relates to Hurricane Beryl. Since our broadcast ended, the first part last night, there has been some developments as it relates to Hurricane Beryl, some developments in the NEOC situation room as well. We'll bring you those developments in short order. Let's start with Hurricane Beryl and the forecast track. We will invite the meteorologist here to unpack some of the weather-related information, but we can just deal with some of the latest forecast information. And first and foremost, this may sound like good news, but Hurricane Beryl has been downgraded. It was a Category 4 storm. Now it's a Category 3. We shouldn't celebrate that information too much just yet or at all, because as you may well know, Category 3 hurricanes are just as deadly.
That's right.
And can cause catastrophic damage to properties in its path. So Category 3 hurricanes, it's nothing to shout about. Further to that, Hurricane Beryl has seemingly slowed on its westerly trajectory, and we're still expected to experience, Lucia is still expected to experience tropical or hurricane conditions, including tropical storm force winds, Michael. So downgrade, but we're not out of the clear. It's not time to sort of let up, right, Michael?
Oui, ça oui. Et quand Riani dit nous, c'est bonne nouvelle tout bonnement, mais ça pas nouvelle assez pour nous sortir dehors et commencer célébrer, et commencer quand il y aura du jump, aller dehors. Changer, Premier ministre l'a dit qui tout le temps la panissa nous a créé all clear. Ça c'est ni mot ni pour bail direction pour dire monde ça sortir dehors. So, So tout le temps nous pas attendre ça. Ça veut dire moun ni pour rester en dedans. Avec on rien ni de nous nouvelle là bon, ça veut dire cyclone là, il pas en degré ITE car menacé tellement mauvais et en degré ça catégorie 4. Ça c'est en degré 4 avec ces qualité vent dangereux ça là été qu'a poussé et puis on 135 liés par net temps. Il y a des sentising mais il a jamais été en degré à ce niveau qui teasing plus bas, ça c'est niveau 3. Ça veut dire vent plus il pas tellement fort cointé mais il faut toujours pour faire dommage avec nous averti Jean Saint-Lucie particulièrement pour pas sortir dehors pour dire que tout bagage a fini et pas de mauvais qu'on nous a espéré. Alors s'il vous plaît écoutez ça nous a dit.
Yep. That's so important because these calms, these lulls, seemingly lulls, can be deceptive, right? We're not out of the woods. The national shutdown remains in effect from 8:30 last night. It continues as we speak. The all clear must be given before citizens, residents can venture out because we're not out of the woods. Hurricane Beryl is still in the region. It's approaching the Windward Islands. It is still a deadly and dangerous Category 3 hurricane. And on its latest trajectory, it has it, or forecasters has it moving through the Grenadine Islands, over Grenada. The outer bands extend as far north as St. Lucia, Martinique, and even further. Barbados is also going to be affected. So this storm is going to affect this region. Timing is, everyone would want to know how soon, but and last night there was something of a quiet. We did get some rain, maybe some gusts here and there, but don't take this lightly. We're not out of the woods.
Moi, il est intéressant maintenant de servir thème going to be. À quoi dit il peut passer. So, ça veut dire, quand rien dit going to be, ça veut dire pourquoi passer avec nous ne pouvons pas en chai. Mais nous pas étudier autant qu'on madame là, quand ça c'est madame là qui a représenté département qui a gardé conditions temps ça il a créé anglais Met Services. Alors moi quoi premier monde pour parler nous c'est madame là, ça c'est madame Vigil Saltibus. Il était ici ailleurs, c'est ma sœur s'il a bien dormi nous pas ça, mais il y a peut-être qu'il y a une position pour dire notice in place.
Yeah, I think we'll bring her on shortly, but just to recap where we left off from last night. In terms of preparedness, we spoke to the officials, fire officials. We spoke to the commissioner of police. We spoke to NEMO directors, and at the last report from every one of them was that we were fairly in a good state of readiness, preparedness. Everything is in place to respond to emergencies if they arise, and so far that hasn't changed. No emergencies, no incidents has arisen in the last several hours since we were last live with you. Hopefully it stays that way, but we're still under a hurricane warning. Now there have been a couple of weather updates since we were live a few hours ago. We will take a break and come back with meteorologist Vigil Saltibus. We will go through the latest weather updates as it relates to Hurricane Beryl, and we'll ask for you to please join us, and we'll be right back after these messages.
We need to be together and support each other.
Stay safe. May God bless us. May God protect all of us.
We must pay special attention to our elderly, our sick, and our bedridden.
In times like this, let us show concern for each other and be each other's keeper.
It is at this time that our compassion, generosity, and love as a people must be extended to one another, particularly to the vulnerable.
In this video, you'll learn how to prepare for a hurricane or a large storm, and what to do if you find yourself in such a situation. Usually a hurricane is announced in advance in weather reports, so the authorities and the public are informed that a dangerous meteorological event is imminent. If the authorities issue a hurricane warning, prepare a disaster kit and a first aid kit. Put your documents, valuables, and clothes in waterproof bags. Reinforce your doors and windows with wooden panels, nailed down if you do not have shutters. Bring inside any object that may be caught up by the wind and become a dangerous projectile. Bring pets indoors and safely house them in their pet carriers. Follow safety instructions on the radio or television. Act quickly if evacuation orders are issued by authorities. During the hurricane, stay inside whenever possible. Unplug all your domestic appliances and switch off the power supply at the mains. Follow safety instructions given on the radio or television. Limit any journeys. If you must go out, be sure to inform family and friends about where you're going. If you are in a car when the hurricane breaks, stop your car far away from trees or electric cables, which could fall on you. Avoid stopping at the bottom of a steep hill or on low ground susceptible to flooding. Stay in your car. In order to minimize the consequences of a hurricane, regularly prune dead branches from trees and cut down any dead trees. If you live in a house, check your roof regularly to ensure it is solid and waterproof. Repair it if necessary.
Create a plan for your home, and don't forget about those who may need assistance during an emergency.
We need to be together and support each other.
Stay safe. May God bless us. May God protect all of us.
We must pay special attention to our elderly, our sick, and our bedridden.
In times like this, let us show concern for each other and be each other's keeper.
It is at this time that our compassion, generosity, and love as a people must be extended to one another, particularly to the vulnerable.
Welcome back to Hurricane Watch with me, Rihani Isidore. We're providing you ongoing coverage of the developments as it relates to Hurricane Beryl. It is now a Category 3 hurricane, a downgrade from Category 4 a few hours ago. However, please take note, this downgrade is no means for any relief, as Category 3 hurricanes are still deadly storms that can cause significant, if not catastrophic, damage. Now, we've had a few weather updates from the National Hurricane Center over the last few hours since we've been off the air, and we will now review some of those updates with meteorologist Vigil Saltibus. He joins me in studio this morning. Ms. Saltibus, before we get into it, how are you?
Oh, I'm awake. It's a long night, so I'm still awake.
That's good. That's good. You know, it's difficult to sort of slumber under these circumstances.
Yes, we have to remain alert and continue to monitor the weather. As we all know, it's a tropic Hurricane Beryl, which is a Category 5 system.
Category 3.
Sorry.
Category 3. Category 3.
Lack of sleep right now. Knock on wood. Yes, sorry. Category 3. Yes.
The long hours can do that.
Yeah, that's a side effect.
This is live. This is real time. We've been here for several hours now, and we will remain here until the all clear is given. So
I'll start back again.
So we've had a few weather updates. What is the latest? 6 a.m.
Okay.
Can we start there?
I think I should start at the 5 a.m.
All right.
Yes. So the 5 a.m. Weather update, that's from National Hurricane Center. The location is 11.7 north, that's the center, and it's at 59.9 degrees west. Maximum sustained winds remain at 120 miles per hour, and the movement has also remained westward at about 20 miles per hour. The system is projected to continue westward, and on its present course, it will most likely affect Grenada and the southern islands of the Grenadines. So far, we have noted that we did not experience significant winds for the past few hours. At 6 a.m., the weather forecast from our office at Hiwanura, we're still forecasting some cloudiness, overcast skies. We expect some heavy showers as well, and possibly, some thunderstorm activity is also likely.
If we can take it a few steps back and look at the downgrade from category 4 to category 3, what's the difference there, and what's the significance in that downgrade?
Okay, the significance is about 10 miles per hour. For category 4, the lowest wind speed to make it a category 4 system was 130 miles per hour. So it went down 10 miles per hour, so it's now 120. So it's a difference of 10 miles per hour winds.
Basically, still a dangerous weather system.
Yes, a very dangerous weather system to the island of Grenada and the Grenadines. Tropical storm winds are still hurricane force winds are extend out to about, let me give you the exact figure from NHC. Hold on a moment, please.
Yeah, because we're still in that, the outer bands, we're still in that region where even if the eye is so far away from us, outer bands can still disturb our location.
Yes, the hurricane force winds extend outwards about 35 miles, and that's
35 miles from the eye,
from the center of Hurricane Beryl. And tropical storm force winds extend 125 miles. So we are in a tropical storm force winds portion of the system of Hurricane Beryl. So we will not get the full brunt of Hurricane Beryl. So the usual hazards associated with such a strong system, a major hurricane, will mostly be felt to our sister island and the Grenadines.
But what conditions can we expect?
For St. Lucia, we can expect tropical storm force winds. Tropical storm force winds average about from 39 miles per hour to about 73 miles per hour. We can experience some gusts that would put it into the category of possible hurricanes force winds.
Now, still dealing with the winds, sustained winds.
Sustained winds would be tropical storm force winds.
And that's 73 miles an hour. So when you say sustained winds of 73 or less, is that wind blowing wind speeds that is just not going to let up?
It will fluctuate. It's based on an average, because for the past few hours, starting from around midnight, Hiwanura had winds averaging about 25 knots, and they had a few gusts. Let me give you the exact figures. Sorry, I'm going to use my computer going back and forth. So they had winds as of 7 o'clock here, they had winds recorded of 33 knots. And last night they had a gust of about 20 No, the George Charles recorded a gust of about 29 knots.
29 knots.
Yes, 29.
Miles per hour translation?
29 knots is about 34 kilometers per hour.
Okay, 30.
Yes.
Okay, wow. And now the burning question that would be on many St. Lucians' minds, especially in light of the quietness over the last several hours, nothing major. Yes.
We had some heavy rains that's considered major in some parts of the country. We experienced some heavy showers, a sudden downpour that's associated with the outer bands of Hurricane Beryl affecting us, passing over us. We are for the past 1 or 2 hours been in a lull. There's a little bit of clearing. The wind is not as strong as after midnight, 1 o'clock. But we do expect the winds to continue to increase, especially towards midday and into the first part of the afternoon. Thereafter, towards evening time, we expect a decrease in rainfall and wind speed, and we expect that the system will gradually be moving across into the Caribbean Sea and moving away from us.
Okay. Now the NHC puts the timing of this 8 a.m. over St. Lucia. What can we expect? That's roughly a little more than a half an hour from now. How should we interpret this data?
Okay, the interpretation is this: the wind field is expected over us from about estimation based on the previous location that it's now at. It hasn't moved much. 11.7 north, 59.9 west. So it's saying that in the next few hours, the next hour, we expect to find the winds will gradually begin to increase.
So increasing winds.
So increasing winds, the tropical storm force winds will be affecting St. Lucia.
Around the 8 a.m. hour mark.
Any time from now, continuing into midday and after midday and into the afternoon. Approaching late evening.
Okay.
Winds are still going to be tropical storm force winds.
But go ahead.
Sorry, but for the island of Grenada, that means the hurricane is getting stronger and they're going to be feeling the effects of the full brunt of Hurricane Beryl coming towards them.
Now, for the most part, I mean, Secretary, the HQ here, we have not received too many calls, or any calls for that matter, regarding major incidents.
That's wonderful news.
Reports coming in concerning power outages. We're not sure if it's associated with Beryl or what might have triggered it. We'll try to get more information on these power outages that may have affected different parts of the country. But for now, 8 a.m. thereabout, intensifying wind speeds. We've had downpours over the last several hours in certain areas, and the message to St. Lucians would be to remain indoors, continue to hunker down? Continue to hunker down,
still continue to maintain, how you say?
Yeah, well, remain in place.
Remain in place, hunker down.
Yeah.
You're still in the system. We are still underneath the hurricane warning. Maybe later on, after the system passes, we'll possibly downgrade into a tropical storm watch or warning. I can't say as yet, based on the current model run.
But the message is to
remain inside.
And vigilant. Exercise extreme.
I didn't want to use that word.
Yes, but you still, we need to be cautious, take every precaution, be vigilant, especially if you're in areas prone to flooding
and landslides.
So for now, we will end this weather update segment right now at this point in time. We will hear from Miss Saltibus at some point in time.
Hello.
We're in it for the long haul.
Yep.
We'll take a quick commercial break.
Catch up on some sleep.
Don't tempt me. We will go to some previous bulletins that would have aired over the weekend into last night, and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Stay tuned to this Hurricane Beryl watch. We're still under a hurricane warning. Stay tuned to the broadcast for the latest concerning Hurricane Beryl as it barrels towards the Windward Islands. Stay tuned.
We need to be together and support each other.
Stay safe. May God bless us. May God protect all of us.
We must pay special attention to our elderly, our sick, and our bedridden.
In times like this, let us show concern for each other and be each other's keeper.
It is at this time that our compassion, generosity, and love as a people must be extended to one another, particularly to the vulnerable.
In this video, you'll learn how to prepare for a hurricane or a large storm, and what to do if you find yourself in such a situation. Usually a hurricane is announced in advance in weather reports, so the authorities and the public are informed that a dangerous meteorological event is imminent. If the authorities issue a hurricane warning, prepare a disaster kit and a first aid kit. Put your documents, valuables, and clothes in waterproof bags. Reinforce your doors and windows with wooden panels nailed down if you do not have shutters. Bring inside any object that may be caught up by the wind and become a dangerous projectile. Bring pets indoors and safely house them in their pet carriers. Follow safety instructions on the radio or television. Act quickly if evacuation orders are issued by authorities. During the hurricane, stay inside whenever possible. Unplug all your domestic appliances and switch off the power supply at the mains. Follow safety instructions given on the radio or television. Limit any journeys. If you must go out, be sure to inform family and friends about where you're going. If you are in a car when the hurricane breaks, stop your car far away from trees or electric cables which could fall on you. Avoid stopping at the bottom of a steep hill or on low ground susceptible to flooding. Stay in your car. In order to minimize the consequences of a hurricane, regularly prune dead branches from trees and cut down any dead trees. If you live in a house, check your roof regularly to ensure it is solid and waterproof. Repair it if necessary.
Create a plan for your home, and don't forget about those who may need assistance during an emergency.
Welcome back. Hurricane Watch is on. We're live broadcasting from the NEMO headquarters to provide you with the latest as it relates to Hurricane Beryl. It's downgraded from Category 4 to Category 3, but as you heard from the meteorologist, that is no reason to take any comfort, no reason to let up or relax as the national lockdown remains in effect. Category 3 hurricanes are still deadly. They can still cause catastrophic damage to property. It's been a long night at the NEMO headquarters. Mr. Lake is still with us, head of the Neoc. And there's been a shift change, but obviously that does not apply to him. Mr. Lake, how was your evening?
Long night. Long, hoping that no calls came in. Thank God to this day, we have had no reports of any concern. One patrol went out and there were limited vehicles on the road, persons adhered to all instructions given.
Yeah.
So to date, we have no reports of any of our citizens in any level of distress. And as you said, we're employing persons to remain at home. There is no school, no work. Remain at home until the all clear is given, and then you can venture out. We have been spared the impact of it, and as far as we understand, St. Vincent's getting the brunt of it now. And what Virgil said is moving from a hurricane warning to a tropical storm. Anything storm related from hurricane to storm is better for us. So we know that the impact, if at all, would be much less than what a hurricane would give. So,
But better for us, but still no need, not a call for any sort of complacency, because storms, as has the case, as has been the case in many times, storms can still cause us problems.
Just as much, just not to the extent of a hurricane.
Yes.
I mean, supermarkets are closed. The country's still on lockdown. There is no need to be a disaster tourist. We have not been impacted anywhere at all. Remain home until such time that the all clear is given, and then you can live life normal. So it's now getting more used to, get acquainted to what you're paying the mortgage for or the rent for. Stay home.
And now, I mean, the rest of the team, NUC team, how are they doing?
They're good. Sleepless. Everybody's still a little, not cranky, but sleepy, because we wanted to have the full team on in the event any of the telephones rang with anything at all, so we can spring into action.
And shift changes are seamless. It's not a case where there's a dormancy or complacency or unmanned stations.
No.
How does that work?
Fire will do a rotation, so will police. Commissioner of Police was there up till, I think, half an hour ago. She was still there. So there will be a replacement for both Fire Chief
and Commissioner.
Well, Fire Chief hasn't come in. Dr. Joseph is still there, so all the desks are manned at this point in time. If anything were to happen now, notwithstanding there's a shift change in place, seamless movement from one to the other. There are no reports to hand over other than personal greetings and telling persons what we have seen and what Met was able to provide throughout the entire night, briefings every few hours. Everybody is gung-ho, ready to go, ready to jump into action. We hope not, but all is on point.
Now, with storms like Hurricane Beryl, at one point in time, Category 4, generating 130 mile an hour, deadly winds, and the forecasters projecting impact times this time, that time. We had 2 a.m. I think now the latest time for some sort of effect on St. Lucia is about 8 a.m., but nothing significant. How important is it for the NEOC, your team, to remain at a state of readiness, even when there seems to be some sort of period of lull in activity?
It takes one mishap. It takes one landslide because of the possible rains from a storm, from a hurricane to a storm, to block it and cause some distress for a driver going on his normal commute wherever you're going to, maybe to relieve shifts at the something at all. It just takes one incident to make it go problematic. So we are hoping that persons adhere to it and stay away, stay home. I don't think, other than nurses and persons in those essential workers, I don't expect to see persons traversing yet.
Yeah.
So the team was quite happy with what was going on. That not that they could have slept, but phones were okay. They were checking in continuously to see what was going on, if there was anything to report, because we don't want to miss anything for somebody to say that this incident happened or that happened, it wasn't reported in. Everybody's in. Director is taking a well-needed 5. Apparently my batteries are a little better charged than hers. So.
Coconut water. Would you have received, utility companies would also provide you with updates?
Yes.
Have you received any reports concerning?
No reports at all. Not from Wasco, from Lucia, from Flow or Digicel. One of the persons in the NUC said that they think Flow was down for some bit with internet connectivity. It was no concern. I didn't verify to find out what it was. It will work itself out, because that wasn't a priority for me. The priority was to ensure that our citizens are safe. And if anything happened, we would be able to respond or cause a response to going to them.
Some of I know we're not out of the woods just yet, but any opportunities to maybe review certain processes, any indications where certain areas might need to be refined or tightened up at this juncture?
Not right now. What normally happens after every event, we have an after-action review where we do the good, the bad, and what needs to be done going forward. And that will be done after this event, once the all clear is given and persons are able to come back in, and let's see where we can improve on any aspect of it. But for now, we're just monitoring the situation, waiting for the all clear, and then, like I said, the after action is a must after every event. so we can guide ourselves, so we know what we need to do better. I know there was a lot of talk of shelters back and forth in that regard.
Yes.
View this one and see what it is, see what procedures can be put in place, or how we can work on the procedures. There are already specific procedures in that regard. So just having a conversation thereafter and see what we need to do to better it in the event, because this is the start of the season. I hope this is the only one we get, but if there are others, we'll be better prepared to handle other situations going forward.
Yeah. And better prepared, start of the season, there's another system of interest behind Hurricane Beryl. No doubt your team will continue to monitor all of these areas of interest in the Atlantic. But for now, all eyes are on Hurricane Beryl. This is Hurricane Watch. It is a Category 3 storm, a downgrade, but still a very dangerous and powerful hurricane. St. Lucia appears to be away from the brunt of Hurricane Beryl, but we are still going to be affected, or at least the forecasters expect some kind of tropical storm or hurricane conditions to affect our region. Just to give you an idea as to what might happen in the next in the ensuing hours, sustained winds up to 73 miles an hour. That can threaten property. That can pose and cause problems. Up to 6 inches of rainfall in certain areas. That forecast hasn't changed at this time. And storm surge is also a looming or a lurking threat under the circumstances, according to the latest weather reports. We will take a quick break. My co-host, Michael Gasper, will be interviewing Lieutenant Colonel. He has to do it in another language, in his mother tongue. It's a bilingual broadcast, of course. So stay with us. So far, so good, St. Lucia. No major incidents, no damage. Everyone seems to be cooperating with the bulletins and the national shutdowns, etc. That's good. Let's keep it up. Let's ride this thing out all the way through until that all clear is given. One more time, please stay with the broadcast. We'll be going to a quick commercial break. Michael Gasper will be joining you then to continue the discussion in Creole.
We need to be together and support each other.
Stay safe. May God bless us. May God protect all of us.
We must pay special attention to our elderly, our sick, and our bedridden.
In times like this, let us show concern for each other and be each other's keeper.
It is at this time that our compassion, generosity, and love as a people must be extended to one another, particularly to the vulnerable.
Merci pour rester avec nous quand nous avons présenté information, nous avons information à sous situation cyclone Beryl qui a affecté nous en manière, différentes manières, qu'on doit apporter si l'on apporte nous était bien sérieux, il a potentiel dommage, mais comme nous apprenons nous jouer un bon matin, nous apprenons qu'il y a des scènes, ça c'est dommage là, et bien manière yo ni ces gens qui ont gardé conditions temps, yo j'ai metté utilising plus bas, ça veut dire force vent avec dommage il était menacé, il était porté, il descend utilising plus bas, mais je vais répéter, mais ça pas veut dire nous pas en disant encore nous ni capacité et bien cyclone ni capacité pour continuer faire dommage à cette discipline puisqu'il vent fort toujours, mais plus bonnet tout à l'heure avant nous t'étais point pause là nous ça c'est Riani qui a parlé et puis chef ça nous a créé Noc ça c'est organisation qui a et bien comité qui a managé opération ti temps cyclone là nous avons créé NEOC avec un monsieur qui est en charge là, c'est un gros chef tout bonnement. Lucia il était ici à bon matin et créole est tellement fin et tellement bon. Il était nécessaire pour nous pour y parler ben nous en langage langue maman nous créole. Bonjour encore, comment ça a été?
Bonjour tout le monde. Il passe bien. Moi ça dit nous pouvons une pièce rapport pièce côté un pays à cause l'année dommage. Cette lycée a coûté tout ça nous t'a dit la partie de gem machine à sous chimère la partie pièce rapport pièce accident rien comme ça pour fait. So nous a dit merci c'est mon comme monsieur Gaspard cyclone n'a pas fini avec cette lycée. Même si ouais soleil dehors avec la pierre pas tomber fond. You just baisser yon petit bail peut-être il s'est changé pour vivre lever même hauteur encore mais pour à présent il bon nous ka regarder pour les nous dit tout bail fini pour moun sa vinn dehors faire ça yo paix mais pour à présent oui tient kay pièce soit propre rentrer police là c'est fire medical tout ces moun qui était là from years yo là toujours chiffre a changé à dans moun kay kayo peut-être moi ka une chance mais pour kay moi tout mais pour à présent là même tout le monde là toujours yo ka faire ça aussi posé faire yo ka pièce téléphone pour sonner pour dire là n'a problème tel côté pour à présent nous bon mais Whitney Churchill pas sorti dehors pas en chimère pas faire rien pour barrer chimère pour nous voyer monde pour barrer assistance Whitney Kaiser
moi maintenant ça Whitney Churchill c'est un bon remède mais nous c'est nous bien content que c'est là ça c'est les cadres nous là qui il propose une pièce ou rapport ça important tout bonnement avec nous voulons complimenter avec saluer Saint-Lucie pour qu'a coûter ces commissions nous qu'a là avec bon ça veut dire moun qu'a coûter puisque nous pas de tant pièce moun perd la vie rien comme ça nous pas ça faire rien contre propriétaire moun bagay comme ça c'est dommage mais malgré nous ça moun ça fait puis tel qu'on te dit les animaux ou ça c'est les animaux bon la rivière ou ça marie là ni on de petit bagay démarrer et ben démarrer exactement ou c'est yon de petit bagay moun ça fait mais quand même encore cette ici bon qui la proconi pièce rapport mais ça pas veut dire qui moun ça en anglais nous a dit complacency ça veut dire rester et faire quoi dire c'est mon organique parler avec ça rien pas fait avec raison ça ka ba raison pour sortir dehors à regarder qui ça qui fait avec bagaille comme ça
oui c'est mon organique soleil dehors pas gel appli mais si c'est n'a pas quitter cette liste il pas quitter il a toujours peut-être c'est vers ça quand il est à présent là même nous pas savent ça qu'il fait après puis gon des systèmes là il a couvert Trinidad pour juste Martinique Dominique so ça ka do manière système là gon so mettre dit yo pas encore fini avec ça qui fait là and wait pour yon dîner encore et nous pas ni pièce rapport si mieux ouais dehors rien qu'on dans problème et ou perd la vie yon la vie qui perd c'est yon la vie trop si nous waiter avec esprit là yo dit il bon pour ouais dehors c'est seulement waiter là yo dit tout ba la fini ou ça vivre la vie copier avant en esprit ça
d'accord mais nous t'étions en rapport côté mon chi pas tenir courant est-ce l'année pièce l'autre situation comme ça
moun m'entend qu'a dit ça mais personne peut encore crier pour dire la pas tenir courant
OK
la place si ça fait nous travailler crier en ce livre nous pour dire qui l'air yo dit la panne courant nous travailler demander Lucia qui raison ça fait là mais personne peut encore crier pour dire la panique courant pièce côté
avec les autres c'est utilité de l'eau bagaille comme ça tout bagaille en ordre
pas de base problème moi qui était moi la partie de l'eau pour avant me venir à yo yo tu as filmé moi glos
c'est pas cyclone là
pas cyclone yo te capable avant pour faire mes système là mais non moun te pas oui manière moi moun te acheter marchandise avant ils sont moun te coûter pas voilà yo te pas oui et qu'on dit l'année un système qui derrière là toujours nous pourquoi ça qui direction et quel point qui ça qui fait nous or c'est l'autre pays an pou se koute. Sa mwen de disi moun la, tout moun ka sou internet da ka ache tout lot informasyon. Sel informasyon nou ka servi se informasyon met set lisi. Pa piyes lot fason ka bay informasyon asou cyclone et lot nou ka kote met set lisi ek yo ka di nou ki kote pou ale ki sa ka fet la. Pa pon bay internet ek mene bay moun ek di sa ek non. Met ka di nou ki manye sistem la ka pase, ki sa pou expect.
Moi, quand tu fais un point avec Rihanna, comme que il bonnet toujours en saison,
oui.
Avec l'année en chaque bagaille pour nous apprendre, en temps de vent, puisqu'ils sont saison cyclone pour novembre, après ça, aujourd'hui,
oui.
Nous avons un système devant Noël là. Ça veut dire, tout le monde, nous n'y pouvons pas en chaque précaution.
Il commence bonnet. Nous partons de commencer au temps bonnet, l'année on débat moun pourquoi faire toujours. Mais c'est premier cyclone là pour saison au temps bonnet et tout le monde a des manières gloire chaud, place là chaud, tout ça qui fait comme ça. So l'année plus pour venir, Milan l'autre cabine là nous pas qui ça y tourner pour. So à nous écouter, à nous préparer nous pour si un bail fait et nous faire un mouvement pour nous faire. On va écouter.
OK, dernièrement c'est gagnant qui a travaillé pour là. Comment il
si vous regardez Zia dans ce monde, vous ne pas regarder comme zombie, mais personne ne peut pas pour un sommeil, et téléphone a sonné, et vous pas attendre. So tout le monde qui a regardé l'autre monde, vous pas bailler blague, ça pas dormir la lever garçon. So tout le monde est là ensemble, pas joli, mais nous avons des chaînes dans notre compagnie pour nous répondre n'importe monde qui crie, qui besoin d'assistance. Yo là, si vous besoin poser.
Eh bien, puisque moi, ça vous là, nous avons une petite chance. Délai ou pas délai, moi, ça vous besoin un petit pause pour faire mes yeux aussi. Avec, quand nous dit, nous bien contents, qu'il pas fait tellement, on met comme ça, ou pourquoi je ne pièce ou rapport. Avec un système là, nous dit, il pas fort qu'on était, nous était avant, il y a des teasing, mais avant nous aller cette liste changer, il pas encore fini.
Toutes les mètres n'est pas fini, il pas encore fini. Peut-être là qu'il y a un changement rapport à mettre, mais pour à présent, il a toujours, il peut encore quitter nous.
D'accord. Eh bien, merci un peu.
Merci.
Et puis, je souhaite bon succès en travail avec pour jouer un petit sommeil. Vous faites mes yeux.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci un peu.
Merci. OK.
We need to be together and support each other.
Stay safe. May God bless us. May God protect all of us.
We must pay special attention to our elderly, our sick, and our bedridden.
In times like this, let us show concern for each other and be each other's keeper.
It is at this time that our compassion, generosity, and love as a people must be extended to one another, particularly to the vulnerable.
Welcome back, Hurricane Watch. We're keeping our eyes locked on Hurricane Beryl. St. Lucia is under a hurricane warning, by the way, Michael. We're continuing to provide you with the coverage as it relates to Hurricane Beryl. Category 3 storm, the brunt of it, just to give you a summary as to where things stand as of 7:50 a.m. July 1st. The brunt of Hurricane Beryl will likely affect St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the northern tip of Grenada. That doesn't mean St. Lucia will go unscathed. The meteorologist expects tropical storm conditions to affect St. Lucia in the coming hours, and these conditions can include sustained winds of up to 73 miles an hour. We can expect rainfall up to 6 inches in certain areas, and of course wind gusts, high wind gusts, and dangerous surf. So St. Lucia still should continue adhering to the protocols, the guidance that have been issued from the NEMO and the Neoc over the last several hours. That is to remain indoors until the all clear is given. You know, we have been placed under a national shutdown as of 8:30 last night. Michael Gasper, do you have enough fuel in the tank to go the distance?
Oui, je me senti fort puisque, comme on dit, moi j'apprends en douche bon matin. Nous ça les distances là, mais quand rien n'est d'eau, nous regarder qui manière situation en Saint-Lucie avec un cyclone Beryl, nous savons qu'il peut finir. Madame là qui était capable condition ça c'est Madame Vigil Saltibus qui a parlé et puis rien n'est plus bon aujourd'hui avec dit nous exactement la situation. Il dit nous comptons qu'il descend catégorie il descend en catégorie 3 avec ça veut dire il était 4 avant avec ça il a poussé vent qui dangereux tout bonnement mais il descend mais encore qu'on nous toujours dit nous répéter ici qu'il peut finir avec nous en position peut-être nous il s'amenace nous toujours puisque c'est manière qu'a regardé c'est à quoi dit c'est Saint-Vincent avec ces petits pays où Saint-Vincent entre Saint-Vincent et la Grenade qui semble joindre plus gros force cyclone ça là mais Saint-Lucie qui dehors puisque même les nous qu'a regardé c'est qu'a regardé l'union ba qu'a dit zier cyclone ça c'est mi-temps avec toutes les c'est place là c'est qu'à point from en mi-temps mais changer cyclone sorti en zia iguan avec c'est ça qui a affecté Saint-Lucie puisque des zia là distance là hot zia pour bout cyclone même il a passé Saint-Lucie qui a gentil en bout là alors ça veut dire nous poco nous pouvons dehors en situation et nous commander pour tout le monde point précaution toujours Premier ministre là Nimo c'est mon qui a bail information officielle pour qu'on déclarer qui toute bagaille en ordre pour mon sortir dehors alors nous avons demandé encore souple ou espérer nous avons information pour dire qui tout bagaille fini et moun ça aller sorti.
You know, and the lulls, the quiet before the storm, as it's often referred to, can be tempting to go outside and or venture out to see what's going on. But don't be tempted, don't be fooled. According to Lieutenant Colonel Lake, don't be a disaster tourist because hurricanes, storms can intensify fairly quickly. Hurricane Beryl is a classic example of how these storms can go from tropical storms, depressions into major hurricanes within hours. From June 28th to June 30th, that's what, 48 hours, maybe 72 hours. Hurricane Beryl moved from a depression to a Category 4 storm that quickly. So it is important that we continue adhering to the guidance, that is to remain indoors, because you do not want to be caught in a situation where your life or your safety is threatened. But we did get some encouraging news from Lieutenant Colonel Lake as it relates to the general cooperation of St. Lucians. The team, the Neoc team, would have made their rounds over the last few hours. A lot of cooperation, minimal disobedience, so to speak, to the national shutdown. The feedback from the stakeholders out there so far, incident free, nothing major, no one is hurt, no property damage, so that's a positive. Let's remain hopeful that it stays that way as Beryl moves through the Windward Islands.
Oui, c'est vrai. Encore, nous ne pouvons jamais lâcher cette liste. Manière nous comptons qu'il y a coopéré et puis c'est officiel là. Jean Saint-Lucie Ouest, c'est lui qui était ici et puis nous allons dire nous, il n'y a pas une pièce qui a été rapport quand monde qui a désobéi loi et bien commande rien comme ça et nous bien contents qui Saint-Lucie nous il y a toujours qu'à dire Saint-Lucie, date, mais ça veut, dans une situation comme ça, au cas où Saint-Jean, Saint-Lucie a coûté, et puis au cas suivre
national cooperation,
avec direction, ça bon toujours.
All right, and just an update on what's to come. In a few moments, we will have Miss Matherine Emmanuel. She's a film producer from the community of Deriso. She'll be providing us with an update with the situation in her neck of the woods, if I'm not mistaken. So we will in Creole, of course. In Creole, I'll probably give you the give you the responsibility to intro Matherine Emmanuel. It'll be a voice note, and she'll be going through what's happening in Deriso, that's in Miku South. But for the most part, according to Lieutenant Colonel, St. Lucia has been fairly incident-free the length and breadth. We have received some reports of power outages in certain communities. At some point in time, we hope to speak to an authority at Lucia to just give us an update as it relates to those power outages to verify what the situation is there. But before that, we will listen to Matherine Emmanuel. She's a film producer from Deriso. She will giving us some information. Are you familiar with Miss Emmanuel, aren't you?
Oui, je connais Matherine bien. Matherine qui a fait bon travail, changer portrait, ça nous a créé cinéma, Ribbons of Blue.
Yes.
Avec un dernier, il fait, c'est un bel portrait tout bonnement, Chatanese World. Avec Chatanese World. Avec c'est bon travail, il a une recognition avec un chai l'honneur pour travailler ça là. Alors, ma friend, c'est Jean Deriso, avec qui parle de nous à sous situation en Deriso, à sous cyclone Beryl.
So we'll go to Matherine Emmanuel now.
Monsieur Gaspard, moi couillé pour un rapport qu'a sorti en Miku South Deriso, moi jusqu'à 10 ans c'est pied bois nous avec à souper mais whole community douce. Tout le monde moi supposé assise la caillou qu'a coûté bien douce. Mais vent qu'a venté bien fort, nous pied bois qu'a souper tout partout. Et nous là nous ni shelter pas ouais c'est l'église là mais moi pas quoi j'ai moun ka aller en shelter mais nous pas ouais avec right now nous just weather même pas tellement belle pied bois ka souper mais tout le monde là ka jouer avec moun bien quiet personne pas les chimères tout le monde ka côté ça zokadi et moi believe avec nous là so rien qui fait si moi get through moi kay ba au rapport manière nous y en la pas west mi côté south and the whistle moi ka pour dire à tout le monde ka côté tout advice là au kabayo avec one love pour c'est mon qui ka point que c'est mon qui passe à point que nous apprécier ça on behalf of St. Lucia. One love 758 nous ka pour dire take care. God bless.
Right now, joining us on the line is Kami Joseph, the Corporate Communications Officer at Lucia. We have received reports of power outages in certain areas of St. Lucia. Before I proceed further, Ms. Joseph, can you hear me okay?
Yes, Rihanna, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I am as well as I can be. How are you? How was your night?
We are good. So far, we have outage reports from a couple of areas. They've been coming in since last evening. Thank you for the opportunity to address your audience. Before we start, we would like to remind St. Lucians all to be as safe as possible. It is important to obey the country shutdown orders to stay inside. And this is just giving you an idea of the areas that we have reported outages in. I know that customers are saying that the hurricane hasn't passed or whatever, and that's why they couldn't have any power. But before we even talk about the idea of what areas, we'd like to make it clear to customers that while Lucia operates a 24-hour, 7-day trouble call service, what that means is whenever we get reports of an outage, we will immediately investigate to restore service in those areas. That situation changes when the country is shut down because of a severe weather system. It means that we are not able to investigate any outage reports until the all clear has been given. With that, I would like to just give you an idea of the areas that we have reported outages in so far. In the north, we have Windward Road in Cap Estate. We have Marigot, Lacaille in Dennery. From Babonneau, parts of Babonneau, we have from Monchy to Plateau Babonneau. And in the south, we have Margaret Toots in Soufrière, Sulphur Springs, and Daban in Saltybus. Now, just to clarify, when we say north, we are referring to from Cap Estate to Dennery in the north, and from Cap Estate to Canaries on the west coast. And the south is everywhere from those areas. So from Micoud all the way down to Bouton would classify as the south.
Is it safe to say that Hurricane Beryl or the storm conditions associated with Hurricane Beryl affected the power supply?
Yes, because even though we are not, the hurricane is bringing its own, we have severe weather in terms of we have wind, we have rain, and those will have impact on the system. Now, we do have ways of actually, when a system is impacted, Lucia is able to try to restore service from our remote locations. It's not always possible because it depends on the nature of the fault or where the fault has occurred. For example, if you've lost service because the wind has knocked a tree down on a wire, no amount of us trying to restore from inside our power station is going to bring it back up. We have to physically go out and clear the line and then restore service. So in those kinds of instances, we will have to physically go out to restore service. But like I said at the top, we are not able to go out and investigate why these areas don't have power. What we will tell customers is to please keep calling in to let us know if you don't have service, because those calls are important for when we get the all clear for us to know where we are going to actually restore service.
Also, given that we have you live on air, can you provide those fault numbers to your customers, please?
I can. I hope you can hear me. The rain is starting to pick up really heavily where I'm at. Okay, so again, the numbers, if you are living in Cap Estate to Dennery or Cap Estate to Canaries, the number to call is 452-2165. Again, that is 452-2165. If you are living in the south, that area is classified from Micoud to Bouton. The number to call is 454-6617. Brianni, now that I have you live, I should also inform customers that our call center will be activated as soon as the all clear is given, and those numbers will change, and we will inform customers of those as soon as that call center is up and running. It means, therefore, that we are asking customers to please follow us on our social media pages. We will have immediate news in terms of any places that are out or how you can contact us so that Lucia can get you back up and in full service as soon as possible. We remind customers again to please be safe and take all precautions at this time.
Joseph, we appreciate you taking the time to give us this important update as it relates to the power issues in some of the areas you just highlighted. The good news is that your customers can phone in. The phone lines are active. They're working. North numbers, south numbers, they can call in to report those faults. We know Lucia has a great reputation in responding to faults, issues, and restoring services in a timely manner. But you are correct. We are under a national shutdown. It is not advisable for anyone other than non-essential personnel to venture out until the all clear is given. Kami Joseph, at what would Lucia be in a position to provide some sort of update in relation to the services later on today?
Yes, it is a fluid. We are in a fluid situation, so we will be updating customers online, and you, as soon as we have new information, we will provide it. Thank you.
On today.
Yes. Okay. Bye.
Casper, so power outages related to the passage of Hurricane Beryl. So, not good news for those customers. They're without power. But for the most part, it's not as bad as it could have been. Maybe it's not as bad as the other islands in the region, well, St. Vincent, Grenada, might be experiencing. Of course, we want to spare thought to our brothers and sisters, our fellow countrymen down there. We hope that they pull through this, they come out on this under the best circumstances possible. So, power outages, call those numbers.
Oui, témoin dit merci un peu pour Camille pour nous rapport ça là à cette situation, à ces courants, à ces places là. Enfin, situation Lucilec, ça c'est compagnie courant, mais il était qu'à rapporter il y a des places qui pas tenir courant, mais bien bonnet à ce téléphone même là, mon collègue qui il m'a demandé comment lever bon matin qui manière you va niveau en mon chi avec
Yeah, I think I heard your neighborhood. They might be out.
Et qui dit non enfin Camille expliquer nous c'est différentes places là il dit my go mon chi pour aller en plateau Sulphur Springs et l'autre place il dit qui panique à la cause dit ou situation ou pas ça et qui bien expliquer qui il pas ça sorti dehors puisque l'année en commande pour mon rester en dedans caillou et que pourquoi voulez aller dehors pour faire investigation à ces situations. Alors,
we can remind the viewers of the north numbers and south numbers. Those are the fault numbers that you can call if you're experiencing any issues with your electricity supply. Casper is going to read out those numbers for you for the north and south.
Exercice pour place hard capacité en notre pays pour ça c'est Canaries yon façade et Denry. Toutes ces places là qui en haut ça c'est en nord avec Limois pour couiller c'est 4 5D D yon 6 5 je vais répéter 4 5 D yon 6 5 sous ka c'est en notre pays et sous ka c'est par bas en sous pays commencer Canaries pour arriver et ben Denry pour arriver Vieux-Fort Limois pour couiller c'est 4 5 4 6 6 yon 7 je vais répéter 4 5 4 6 6 yon 7.
And those numbers are on screen. If you can see it, take it down. North fault reporting, you call 452-2165. South fault reporting, that number is 457-66. I beg your pardon, 454-6617 for South fault reporting. I'm also noticing an additional number, an alternative number for the south. We'll get that on screen. Have your pen and paper handy or type it in your phone. These are the fault reporting numbers for Lucilec. We've been told by the corporate communications officer that there are power outages, various locations in St. Lucia. So if you're in the north, that's Kappa State going all the way down to Denry, and on the east side of the island, East Coast, Canaries. On the west, the number to call 452-2165. And if you're in the south, that's from Miku going all the way around to Buto, you dial 457-4800. And as needed, Lucilec will continue to provide us with the relevant updates as it relates to the power supply. And as of now, it is 8:10 a.m. Earlier in the broadcast, meteorologist Vigil Saltibus explained that around this time of day, we can experience, or we may begin to notice intensifying conditions, maybe increased rainfall, stronger wind gusts, stronger wind speeds. So if you're now noticing this is all part of the forecast, Gaspar. 8 a.m. And in the ensuing hours, we may start to notice and feel the intensifying conditions associated with Hurricane Beryl, Michael.
Oui, c'est pour ça nous toujours avertis monde qui même si il poko situation pas mauvais qu'on nous espérer, ça pas veut dire nous pas qu'à jouer dommage. Nous y vent fort toujours avec IP en cause dommage. Nous continuer verti citoyen verti monde pour poko sortir poko catcher te regarder les animaux moins ko bœuf moins marais cabrit n'importe bagaille. En nous poko sortir dehors nous gagner assez temps pour faire ça espérer qu'on premier ministre l'a dit avec directeur animaux en nous espérer ça il a créé anglais all clear ça veut dire les il a décidé il ça c'est là pour tout le monde bagaille vie normal et monde ça sorti dehors.
And you and I were discussing this earlier in the broadcast, maybe even the previous broadcast. The fire officials brought it up as well. This is the precise reason why you want to stay indoors. Power lines, power outages, defective or experiencing some challenges, venturing out before the all clear is given, you may encounter some sort of power line or pole that is compromised. You can put yourself in some serious problem. You're creating new hazards, putting more strain on the emergency personnel who are really on standby to respond to emergencies related to this Hurricane Beryl, not avoidable hazards. For example, someone choosing to go outside to have a look at what's happening and you encounter some difficulties. So remain indoors. We don't know the extent of these power outages. We don't know what's causing them, as Lucia explained, so please continue to remain indoors. St. Lucia is still under a hurricane warning. That's serious because Hurricane Beryl is at Category 3 status. Yes, it's slightly weakened, but Category 3 is still dangerous. Now, we'll turn our attention to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Equity. That's Dr. Charmaine. She provided an update. Charmaine Hippolyte Emmanuel, I beg your pardon. She provided some updates earlier as it relates to that ministry's preparation. So we will, I think we're ready to go to Dr. Charmaine Hippolyte Emmanuel to get her feedback on the situation with the ministry.
So, interview with the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment. Yes, as we speak, we're preparing for an impending storm. Ministry of Equity plays a critical role, social protection, the island's homeless, the vulnerable, the less fortunate. What is the ministry's position as of now in preparation for those individuals? How are we dealing with approaching the dealing of these people in terms of housing them, securing them, ensuring that they are safe, ensuring that at least they can weather the storm?
Okay, while everyone who we deem vulnerable is important to us, we have categorized them in two groups. Firstly, public persons on public assistance, those who live in harm's way, those who live on the riverbanks and so on. The Disaster Preparedness Committee or within the community, will be looking out for them, and that would include taking them to shelters or having them move to the closest neighbor or family member. And the group on the ground would include the social transformation officers, in some instances the nurses and some church members. The other group is those that we consider to be homeless. We have identified a place for them. As we speak, they are already at the place. We're getting quite a bit of support from Ministry of Health in terms of helping them with psychosocial needs and medical needs. Also, we are getting tremendous support from CCC, where they're helping us transport those individuals. The ADRA group and other voluntary groups are also helping with feeding and ensuring that they are safe and they have dry and clean clothing. That would be from the Salvation Army. So far, of course, with the exception of the family members of staff, we have actually placed everything in order for those that we deem most vulnerable.
And what is the ministry's response after the storm. So the storm is now approaching. That's the pre. What happens post?
Well, post-storm, we're hoping to do our in-depth assessment again. And of course, persons who will be in need of medical care, we organize that for them. Persons who will be in need of shelter, clothing, food, whichever, depending on our assessment results. And of course, no matter what the end result will be, financial implication or otherwise, the ministry is committed to ensuring that we actually meet those needs.
Permanent Secretary Charmaine Hippolyte Emmanuel, we thank you.
A comprehensive update from the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment. They took a lot of proactive steps to respond to the indigent, the marginalized, the really vulnerable groups in our population, Michael. And it's a great update that majority of the vulnerable groups have been secured, they have been tended to. Some good information coming from the Permanent Secretary?
Oui, d'accord. D'accord avec ça. Avec nous bien content que c'est officiel là, mon docteur Charmaine Hippolyte Emmanuel qui nous rapport ça là dit nous exactement qui manière pour particulièrement pour monde qui vulnérable qu'on nous dit monde qui pas ni capacité
pour aider
exactement et
differently able as
bien
well.
Content que ministre des affaires sociales qui prend responsabilité pour occuper ces monde là et nous content qui a prendre ces démarches là pour aider monde pour bailler oui mais as in particular, le monde comme ça a toujours besoin oui mais avec occupation. Et quand nous aussi qu'a changé qui nous te parlé puis monsieur Davis Paul c'est qui a en Castries qui a occupé quand chaque monde connaît des congrès box qui a occupé qui était rapporté dans
Castries Central.
Oui, exactement. Il était de nous là tenu 40 monde bon la vigie il a occupé avec nous bien content que gens nous pas qu'à oublier ces monde là en chaque délai monde qu'à les koyo seulement et que pas qu'à changer un monde qui pas qu'à ni capacité pour aider koyo avec nous bien content.
And we really cannot ignore or leave them out or even forget the vulnerable, whether homeless, whether differently able, the elderly, especially if they live alone and not able to tend for themselves. We must ensure, we have to, and the Prime Minister indicated it, appealed or urged us to do this in his speech on Sunday, which is to be essentially be our brother's keeper. All right, this is a serious time. We're not all equal. Socially, economically, some may have more means than others, and if that's your situation, now is as good a time to ensure that the rest of your community, the rest of your neighborhood, you share the load. You extend that friendly hand to ensure that someone who may need help, someone who's not in a position that you're in, can get assistance and can ride this out, so that we all come out on the other side of this in a better, safe and sound. Speaking of safe and sound, we do have an update, or there has been a development as it relates to Hurricane Beryl. We began the broadcast announcing the downgrade of Hurricane Beryl. It was a Category 3 when we started a little after 7 a.m., maybe a little more than an hour ago. However, as of the 8 a.m. update forecast from the National Hurricane Center, it seems Hurricane Beryl has intensified again and is now back to Category 4 strength. This is not the news we wanted at this time. Of course, we would have wanted a continuing deterioration, but Michael, Category 4, back to deadly, back to, it never really left Category 3, it's a stone's throw away, but it's officially a Category 4 storm once again, Michael, in the last hour.
Tout à l'heure, il y a un technicien qui a travaillé pour nous. Il m'a demandé en question qui a été femme Beryl. Beryl, une femme qui a changé l'idée. Avec, vous savez, nous peut-être nous avons oui ça, mais il sait oui, avec nous avons fait point ça là, plus bonheur. Nous dit toujours qu'à dire que nous n'y pour prendre information en sérieux, avec nous pas ni pour toujours quoi qui con. Même si nous dit nous pas qu'à la pluie, nous pas qu'à situation qui garder mauvais, mais nous pas ni pour calculer et bien aidor mais à présent nous te dit nous te rapporté nous commencer qui Beryl ça c'est cyclone Beryl il te descend c'est mon qui a fait étude là hors bio mettre là ça il te dit qui il te descend avec ça veut dire il partait dangereux quand il était yo souhait à présent en rapport 8 les yo vient examiner cyclone là yo déjà ouais il monter il virer catégorique 4 même quand il est encore ça veut dire système là et ben cyclone là il a fait changer il a changé il a venu délai il a venu plus mauvais avant il a venu mauvais et bien délai aussi il a changé position alors n'importe bagaille qu'il a fait avec c'est pour ça nous toujours qu'avdou pour point information nous ka ba la sérieux avec toujours côté ça nous ka ba.
Yep, Michael, because and this is exactly why it is important for the general public, especially those of us who can be affected by weather systems, by Hurricane Beryl, to pay attention to the weather bulletins, the weather forecasts from official sources. We need to really obsess over the weather reports coming in periodically because of these rapid and sudden changes. We were at Category 3 at 7 a.m. It's almost 90 minutes later and we're back at Category 4. All the more reason for the general public to take heed of the national shutdown and the other guidances, which are to stay indoors, stay in place until that all clear is given. We had an extensive lull, although there were some downpours scattered about the island, some occasional wind gusts. But here we are, back to Category 4 strength. Although the Hurricane Beryl hasn't changed its trajectory, it's still westerly moving, but St. Lucia remains in the tropical storm zone. That means we can still experience tropical storm conditions near hurricane strength, because tropical storm conditions include wind speeds up to 73 miles per hour. A couple miles quicker, we're at Category 1 strength. So just to give you an idea as to the situation in the Windward Islands, the islands that are currently under a hurricane warning include Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Tobago. Those islands are currently under a tropical storm warning. We are under a hurricane warning, I beg your pardon. I'll just review that list one more time. The islands currently under a hurricane warning include Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada and Tobago. The islands under tropical storm warning include Martinique, Trinidad and St. Lucia. So, as forecast, as was given or issued by the meteorologist earlier, this hour, this time of the day, intensifying rain, stronger winds, and it seems like that forecast seems to be accurate.
Quite accurate indeed. Ça, apprendre que ces places-là qui en bas en condition ça nous a dit hurricane warning, c'est place comme Barbade, Saint-Vincent et c'est type Grenadines là, la Grenade et puis Tobago avec en place comme Saint-Lucie en l'autre degré il y a tropical storm warning, ça c'est teasing please bas parce que c'est les autres pays à manquer là et ces places là c'est Martinique, Trinidad et puis Saint-Lucie encore encore, nous toujours répéter, pas dire trop, mais nous pouvons ça sortir dehors, puisque nous dans la situation ça là toujours avec ces qualités, ces vents, ça en est cause dommage.
Yep. So we will take a break at this juncture. We will try to open up the lines to get feedback from you, the audience. Call us in. We will give you the opportunity, or you will have the opportunity to call in to the broadcast to let us know what is happening in your neck of the woods, what the situation is. We'll let you know the number right now before we go to break, and on the other side of it, we'll try to start taking your calls. So if you take a pen and paper handy, have a pen and paper handy, take this number down: 488-4675. That's the call-in number to dial. When we return from our break, we'll have a few messages, important messages on hurricane preparedness. But the number one more time, 488-4675. You'll be able to call in and tell us what's happening in your area. We'll be back in a moment. This is Hurricane Watch. Stay tuned.
We need to be together and support each other.
Stay safe. May God bless us. May God protect all of us.
We must pay special attention to our elderly, our sick, and our bedridden.
In times like this, let us show concern for each other and be each other's keeper.
It is at this time that our compassion, generosity, and love as a people must be extended to one another, particularly to the vulnerable.
In this video, you will learn how to prepare and react when faced with a flood. If you receive an alert from the authorities that a flood is incoming, keep all your valuables, important documents, as well as hazardous or toxic substances on an elevated surface as high as possible. Prepare your disaster kit and your first aid kit. Follow authorities' instructions on TV or the radio. When the flood is imminent, close all doors and windows, seal off all low-down gaps or openings in your home as best as you can using cloth or adhesive tape for the window frames. Turn off the gas and electricity supply at the mains. Move to an upper floor if there is one. During the flooding, listen to the radio to keep abreast of the latest developments concerning the current situation and to follow additional advice. Do not go out unless instructed to do so by authorities. If for some reason you have to leave your home, inform your friends and family of your departure and where it is you are going to. Never attempt to cross a flooded area, whether you are on foot or in a car. Stay away from any electrical power lines which have fallen to the ground. Do not wait until the last moment to evacuate if ordered to do so. If you need to drink, make sure the water in question is potable. If the flooding is sudden and you are not alerted, watch out for any messages from authorities, either via radio, mobile phones, or warning sirens. Get to an elevated point away from the water. Signal your location if you are isolated. Do not go and collect your children from school. They are taken care of by teachers who are trained for such events. If you are outdoors, keep away from rivers, rapids, or any other body of water. get to safety at an elevated point. Remember, cars are not adequate shelters. Here are a few prevention tips. Get informed of the risks in your area and of the related safety measures. Check whether your house is in a flood-prone area. If you live in an area prone to flooding, keep your important documents, valuables, and hazardous products as high as possible. Keep a copy of important documents with your friends or family, or make use of a digital filing service. Keep all electric plugs elevated. If you have children, find out about the measures in place to take care of your children in case of a flood during school hours. If you're differently abled, inform the emergency services.
Natural disasters happen and impact your home, family and pets. But there are many things you can do to lessen the impacts. The Kalui family knows all about being prepared. They've prepared a household emergency plan, have an emergency kit with food, water, medication and spare clothes, have an emergency contact list, know how to turn off the water, power and gas, have and can use a fire extinguisher. They've taken out insurance and checked that it covers flooding, fire damage and storm damage. And they've stored important documents. They've also prepared their home, cleared the gutters and checked the roofing, trimmed branches and removed leaf litter, firewood and fuel containers. Next door, Mr. Jones lives with his cat, Meow. Meow. The Kalui family asked Mr. Jones if he'd like some help getting prepared for possible severe weather.
Can I help you get prepared for a disaster?
Maybe another day.
Warning, heavy rain and strong winds are on the way.
It's me, Sheldon, Mr. Baldwin.
We better tie down the loose items.
Don't forget Yap.
I better check on Mr. Jones. The Logan Early Warning app has sent an alert. A severe storm is headed our way.
Doesn't look like it'll rain too much. I'm busy watching my favourite show right now.
Will our trampoline be okay, Dad?
Yes, I've tied it down so it won't blow away.
Reports are suggesting that the worst of the storm has moved out to sea. Residents are advised to stay safe and inside where possible.
Mr. Jones, are you okay?
I can't find Meow.
Why don't you come next door and join us?
After the storm passes, it's time to help each other clean up. Remember, when you're collecting debris, watch out for snakes and spiders. Don't touch the fallen power lines. Make sure you record damage for insurance purposes. Mr. Jones is sure he will be better prepared next time.
It pays to be prepared.
We need to be together and support each other.
Stay safe. May God bless us. May God protect all of us.
We must pay special attention to our elderly, our sick, and our bedridden.
In times like this, let us show concern for each other and be each other's keeper.
It is at this time that our compassion, generosity, and love as a people must be extended to one another, particularly to the vulnerable. We need to be together and support each other.
Stay safe. May God bless us. May God protect all of us.
We must pay special attention to our elderly, our sick, and our bedridden.
In times like this, let us show concern for each other and be each other's keeper.
It is at this time that our compassion, generosity, and love as a people must be extended to one another, particularly to the vulnerable. We need to be together and support each other.
Stay safe. May God bless us. May God protect all of us.
We must pay special attention to our elderly, our sick, and our bedridden.
In times like this, let us show concern for each other and be each other's keeper.
It is at this time that our compassion, generosity, and love as a people must be extended to one another, particularly to the vulnerable. We need to be together and support each other.
Stay safe. May God bless us. May God protect all of us.
We must pay special attention to our elderly, our sick, and our bedridden.
In times like this, let us show concern for each other and be each other's keeper.
It is at this time that our compassion, generosity, and love as a people must be extended to one another, particularly to the vulnerable. We need to be together and support each other.
Stay safe. May God bless us. May God protect all of us.
We must pay special attention to our elderly, our sick, and our bedridden.
In times like this, let us show concern for each other and be each other's keeper.
It is at this time that our compassion, generosity, and love as a people must be extended to one another, particularly to the vulnerable.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Hurricane Watch. My name is Rihani Isidore. Alongside me is Mr. Michael Gasper. Hurricane Watch, why? Because we're keeping our eyes fixed on Hurricane Beryl. Michael Gasper, it's back up to a category 4.
Oui, avec ça, c'est une situation qui n'est pas tellement belle, puisque nous, quand nous tenons à poids, nos souhaits étaient était en catégorie 4, bon matin, il descend pour 3 et demi, bon 8 heures, nous apprenons, il vient point force, il vient monter pour catégorie 4, mais bonne nouvelle là, c'est qui il pas qu'à affecter nous à autant oued quand il a affecté l'autre pays comme la Grenade, Saint-Vincent, etc. pays ça et nous qu'à prendre l'occasion pour nous changer ces frères excès nous en ces pays ça, mais en cette ici ça pas ni pièce, la pas ni raison pour nous sortir dehors et dire bagaille belle. Il y a un monde qui crie maintenant, et pas crier qui veut une commission pour me demander qui manière situation est-ce que ça allait sortir dehors, quantité nous fois nous a dit est-ce que j'ai fini puisque moun j'avais virer a fait travail aller tout partout, mais encore nous avons prendre l'occasion pour nous dire moun souple il poko premier ministre ça c'est directeur Nimo c'est moun qui responsable c'est officiel là poko dit nous et tout bagaille en ordre puisque l'aniveau avec directeur ça fait madame
Meteorology? Yeah, Miss Virgil Saltibus.
Il était ici à Pribonnéa, il était dit nous qui vente qui vient commencer encore et voilà la a changé délai ou quand la pluie toujours ou quand jeune vent c'est une raison qui fait nous toujours commander monde pour rester tranquille.
And just looking back at how the situation has changed since we started the broadcast around the 7 o'clock hour, maybe more than 90 minutes ago. We started, yes, the national shutdown was still in effect, but the latest weather advisories at that time, that would have been the 6 a.m., indicated that Beryl was downgraded to a category 3. It was still tracking westerly. The brunt of Hurricane Beryl will likely impact St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, and that downgrade was encouraging news for St. Lucia, simply because the worst of the tropical storm force winds, we were sort of in the clear where that is concerned. But now, not too long ago, as a matter of fact, at 8 o'clock, an hour after we started, the National Hurricane Center has upgraded Beryl back to a category 4, dangerous and deadly hurricane. But in the hour, we spoke with the meteorologist, Mrs. Vigil Gustav. She indicated that St. Lucia, Saltibus, excuse me, Vigil Saltibus. She indicated that St. Lucia will likely experience tropical storm force winds around the 8 a.m. hour, which is what's happening now. Rainfalls, some scattered thunderstorms, up to 6 inches of rain in certain areas, and the reports have been coming in slowly of certain areas experiencing intensifying weather conditions. We also we had a conversation with Lucia Gasper, who explained that there's some power outages, and the reports are coming in as it relates to the power outages. Lucilec?
Oui, Lucilec a nous rapport comme que l'année différents côtés et qui te dit nous place comme Maïgo, place comme Monchi. Premier pour nous détenir, c'était Monchi pour caler pour plateau, pas tenir courant avec yo ka rapporter et qui les cas continuellement des citoyens moun en pays pour crier yo dit yo banou limo ça c'est en ordre avec sous pays et moun qui en ordre pays ça crier 4 5 D yon 6 5 et sous en sous pays crier 4 5 4 6 6 yon 7 pour rapporter problème avec pour les Lucilec joindre en chance nous ça vitement yo ka venir faire investigation et venir corriger ça vite nous ça moun pas veut rester sans fruit yo pas veut rester particulièrement ces jours ça moun veut ni assez court charge les cell phone avec tout bail comme ça alors Lucilec a travaillé pour faire assurer tout bagaille comme marcher bien.
Yeah, and that's absolutely right. That's a good observation because although there are power outages in some areas, the power situation was fairly stable heading into this morning. So that would have given residents ample time to ensure devices are fully charged because we're still not in the clear just yet. This storm can intensify, the situation can intensify over the coming hours. So if you're not impacted or affected by a power outage, check your phones, your mobile devices, your portable chargers, plug them in, make sure that they're plugged in, and to keep those devices fully charged, because we never know how the situation may evolve in the coming hours. Gaspar, I think we're going to talk to the crisis management team at Flow. His name is Mr. Emil Alexander. Mr. Alexander, are you with us? Can you hear me?
Hi, yes, good morning, I am.
Good morning, Mr. Alexander. What can you tell us as far as Flow's services are concerned?
Well, currently, based on all reports, we're not experiencing any major outages. We have not received any information concerning of downlines or anything at this point. I have been in contact with our teams who are on standby, and everybody is just in a holding pattern as of now. But as far as the network is concerned, we are all functional as of now.
Monsieur, Massaf, vous parlez créole, Monsieur Amil, vous parlez créole?
No, I'm not very good at Creole.
But let me ask you, how is the outage, or how are the outages affecting, say, the cell phone use and all of that?
Because Lucia is reporting power outages in certain areas.
Right.
I didn't get that. Can you repeat that?
I'm asking how Lucilec has reported power outages. How is that affecting your service?
In these areas, we have backup on our power supplies, which usually, lasts between 3 and 4 hours, depending on the load. So we're hoping if, that the current comes back within that time, if possible. But we do have some resiliency and redundancy in areas.
Can you give us, perhaps, give our listeners, our viewers, numbers that they can call in case they have issues or problems?
Okay, so we will be sharing that. Well, I think we would have shared that yesterday and maybe earlier this morning. But our EOC number is 451-9199. And there are also, we have some WhatsApp numbers, is 488-1800, 487-1800, and 489-1800. So customers can send, WhatsApp messages to these numbers if they notice any immediate sort of damage that they can visually see. We don't want anybody venturing out to alert us of these.
Alexander Rihani is here once again. What can we expect in the aftermath of Beryl? I know it's still early days yet where the passage is concerned. I know you're saying that you're not experiencing, or the faults are not coming in at this time, but will there be some sort of assessment in the aftermath? Or what can we expect in the immediate future?
Well, in the immediate aftermath, once the all clear is given for the first responders to venture out, our teams have their zones and they will be out to start whatever checks and restoration that needs to be done. So as we're all on standby and just waiting for the all clear from NEMO and the government.
You provided us with some numbers. We will try to get those numbers on the screen so the viewers can take it down. We will repeat those numbers over the course of the broadcast, but just to verify, those numbers are working, and flow customers can call to report faults. Is that correct?
Right. I would encourage for people to use the WhatsApp numbers as our EOC, which is really man posts to get those the calls in from customers. We don't have anybody at that station at present, but it will also be up and running man once the all clear is given.
Those WhatsApp numbers 488-1800, 487-1800, and 489-1800. Customers can call, or should they send a message?
Preferably messages. It will be better to manage in that way.
Numbers for fault reporting for flow services, viewers, listeners. The numbers are 488-1800, 487-1800, and 489-1800. Mr. Emil Alexander, we appreciate you taking time to give us that update. We may reach out to you over the course of the broadcast as the development continues to unfold.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Another utility provider, Gaspar, Lucia has power outages, flow seemingly stable, steady, although things are still picking up. We hope it stays that way for flow customers. Connectivity is important, especially during hurricanes and storms. Losing contact or connectivity with relatives and family can cause some panic.
Oui,
long overdue.
Mais quand nous avons M. Anil Alexander, il va nous information à ce qui situation et puis flow, mais il encourage les gens qui ont des problèmes et puis flow et bien il pas joindre ça c'est connexion et bien rien comme ça pour crier les mots à WhatsApp. C'est les mots c'est 488 800 et bien on s'accrie 487 800 et bien 489 800 à sur WhatsApp pour apporter n'importe situation peut-être ou péni et puis téléphone et bien comme ça nous savons en tant comme ça mon cas dépend à sur téléphone avec ça comme on dit tout à l'heure nous de ça qui plus important non pas dire plus important parce que l'eau important aussi mais en situation moun veut tendre c'est ça qui a passé avec un important nous jeunes Lucia j'ai dit que j'ai ban un rapport et nous jeunes flow caban un rapport à présent peut-être Lucia Wasco qui parler puis nous
hopefully we can get to talk to the other service providers.
Nous sommes gars pour anti pause ou même garder comme ou garder fin disant.
On that note, I think we will take another break. We'll take another break, review some of the messages concerning the passage of Hurricane Beryl, some of the latest bulletins and updates that have already been recorded. Pay attention to those. Hurricane Beryl, a reminder, back to Category 4 strength. St. Lucia remains under hurricane tropical storm warning, and all are reminded to shelter in place, stay indoors, and do stay tuned to the continuing coverage of Hurricane Watch. We'll be right back.
We need to be together and support each other.
Stay safe. May God bless us. May God protect all of us.
We must pay special attention to our elderly, our sick, and our bedridden.
In times like this, let us show concern for each other and be each other's keeper.
It is at this time that our compassion, generosity, and love as a people must be extended to one another, particularly to the vulnerable.
When the waves swell, the wind blows, and rain starts to pour, you'll ask yourself, how prepared or unprepared are you? Did you board your windows? Protect your home? Secure loose objects so they won't blow away. Bring large items in and low items up. If you're properly prepared, it will help in a big way. Does your family have a plan? Do they know what to do? Is your emergency kit packed, waiting by the door for you? Just because you're not on the coast doesn't mean you're okay. Heavy winds and flooding can wash things away. When a hurricane is near, you need to stay safe. Turn on the radio. Wait for updates. Only leave your home if told so. Grab your bag and go, go, go. Now, if you're home and the heavy wind blows, get away from the windows, watch out for flooding, and protect yourself. You may be without power for a couple days, but your emergency kit should help you to stay. Once the storm is gone and it's safe to go home, be cautious of what's going on. If water's in your path, you have to turn back. Dangerous electricity and things you can't see can hurt you very badly. So before the waves swell, the wind blows, and rain starts to pour, get prepared, make a plan, and protect yourself each and every way.
We need to be together and support each other.
Stay safe. May God bless us. May God protect all of us.
We must pay special attention to our elderly, our sick, and our bedridden.
In times like this, let us show concern for each other and be each other's keeper.
It is at this time that our compassion, generosity, and love as a people must be extended to one another, particularly to the vulnerable.
Merci un pile pour rester puis nous regarder la situation un cyclone Beryl avec nous en place Nimo en Bizé en Castries avec nous avons commission sur la station télévision indienne avec un chaque monde qui joint par médias sociaux et puis il y a aussi nous tenir DBS et puis nous passons aussi l'année l'autre station qui branchée et puis nous bien contents pour nous présenter situation ça là-bas où faire ça exactement qui manière il est puisque nous avons une grosse responsabilité comme nation pour informer nation informer tout le pays puisque nous pas voulons qu'on nous t'étonne ça c'est monsieur Lek qui en charge ça nous qui comité IOC qui a dit pas yon la vie qui perd trop pour nous avec ces raisons qui fait nous présenter information ça là puisque nous voulons tout Saint-Lucien rester sauve avec nous voulons tout bagaille aller bien pour gîte nous avons déclaré tout bagaille en ordre avec nous ça nous avons créé en anglais all clear pour monde ça vivre à faire affaire avec la vie qui est normale mais quand même c'est pas moyen qui ici à la hausse garder c'est pas moyen qui ici mais ici et puis monsieur Riani Isidore nous avons présenté situation.
Yeah, actually we have on the line the DDC chair for Vieux-Fort North, Miss Lindy Eriste. She's joining us now live to give us the situation as it relates to Vieux-Fort North. Lindy, can you hear me?
Yes, hello, good morning everyone.
Good morning, Lindy. What is the situation like in Vieux-Fort North?
Of the Vieux-Fort South, which is disaster committee. Thanks.
South, Lindy.
I'm sorry?
How's it going in your area?
Okay, it's very windy. We're presently experiencing gusty winds, the past 25-30 minutes. There's a lot of dark cloud cover as well, and occasional showers. We have been at the Bintley Comprehensive Secondary School from last evening. We have housed 19 shelters. Fortunately, some of those persons have been able to go to their homes, and about 5 persons have returned to their homes, and the others are presently with us. We have 11 males between the ages of 4 to 64 years, and 8 females between the ages of 10 to 80 years. One of those persons, the shelters, was a wheelchair-borne male who's still with us at the shelter, and an 80-year-old female. There were also 4 children who were part of this group of persons who were shelters or taking occupancy besides those who are occupied at the Bintley Comprehensive School currently. So this is what I'm saying at the moment.
And I'm sure you're aware, Lindy, that the southern part of St. Lucia, according to the forecasters, will experience, for lack of a better word, the worst of the tropical storm conditions that we will likely experience. And it's interesting. So now you're confirming that individuals are occupying some of these emergency shelters in Vieux Fort?
No, just one of the shelters has been activated or is been occupied, which is the Bintley Comprehensive Secondary School. We have 2 other shelters, the Plainview Combined School in Larishwood, and the Victory Pentecostal Church, which will serve the residents of Huron Orchard and Cedar Heights, but we have not been activated at the moment.
Certainly, all would be in place.
I mean, even that anybody needs to seek shelter during the event.
Have you noticed any flooding in Vieux Fort, your area?
No, not at the moment, no, because the rains have only just started, so there isn't any flooding at the moment, fortunately.
Select is confirming power outages across the island. Any power outages or service disruptions in your area?
Yes, there was a power outage in Larishwood from last evening. I don't think it has been restored today, as we were able to communicate with one of our volunteers, the families of one of the volunteers who was informed that there has been a power outage in that area. But besides Newport Town, it's still, electricity is still operational.
Yep. And yesterday, the Wasco Water and Sewage Company indicated that they would have been shutting down the southern water supply. How has that affected you in Vieux Fort?
Well, remember, we are the Bintley Comprehensive School, so we can only speak for water teams here. We do have stored water, so we're able to access it. But from yesterday, from what I was informed, that there was a shortage of water. It's like as was indicated that they would have closed those mains. So persons have been informed, and as we know, they would be trying to assist themselves in whatever way possible.
Lindy, bonjour, comment vous êtes?
Thank you so very much. Bonjour.
Lindy, nous pouvons finir pour bonjour, comment vous êtes?
Moi bien merci monsieur, merci. Comment vous êtes?
Puisque ou ben nous anti-rapport en anglais, nous voulons savoir qui manière il a passé, même ça au delà, ben nous en créole.
Ah, là il dit pas trop pour ça. Mais pas trop fort. En créole, mais I try to.
Exactement, nous apprécions ça. Eh bien, nous avons dit situation en sud pays, ça c'est un Vieux Fort en particulier, comme c'est vous qui en charge comité qui est responsable pour désastres en bas là, et nous bien contents qui vous et puis on est en comme gagne monde qui est volontaire qui travaille et puis particulièrement en temps comme ça pour aider monde aider situation. Qui ça vous a dit nous?
OK, moi je vais dire merci pour tous ces gens qui by time, mon committee, Pour caillou et du monde Villefort actuellement. So moi just dire merci pour tout pour et to me faire pour you available. All right, so c'est pour actuellement l'année ça est bon pour un fois et nous savons les conditions parabéniques primaires actuellement c'est nous pas pour l'année ça est bon pour actuellement c'est ça nous pas expliquer.
Créole là pas tellement fort, mais avant moi finir, Timoso Créole là on y a. Dis-nous, et bien peut-être on y a une commission pour bail moun avant, ma savent si ou savent en commission bail janvier fort à Ouman ça là, qui ça va dire?
Mais match ça va dire?
Bail janvier fort qui a coûté à présent.
Oh, moi dire pour rester la caillou puis l'année bon c'est fort et nous pas avec personne affectée nous voulons tout le monde rester safe la caillou et please nous allons dire tout plaît pas venir dehors si vous pas ni pour venir il pas faire emergency pour vous et
Allô? Ben avant ou aller dernièrement, dis-nous ben nous limo yo sakouye si un cas moun ka besoin assistance ou.
Si yo toi ka qui font?
Limo yo sakouye.
Si yo toi ka même match ça plus.
Non, moi veux ben nous en limo yo sakouye pour moun qui ni toi ka. Number that they can call you, they can reach you in case there is an emergency.
All right, they can reach me at 285 6878. 285 6878. In the event that they are impacted or they need some assistance. So we are the Minfield Comprehensive Secondary School to assist anyone who needs our assistance.
Timoso Créole, ma table est finie. Thank you.
Merci. Thank you so very much and be safe as well. Thank you.
A timely update from V4 South District Disaster Committee Chair. Some people occupying at least one emergency shelter has been activated at this time. The good news is no flooding reported in that area as of now. Some wind gusts, some downpours, but no flooding. Gasper, the situation seems to be evolving, going in different directions. But this is Hurricane Watch. This is what we're here to do, to keep our eyes on the developments across St. Lucia and provide you with the timely information and updates you need to help you, your family, your community ride out this storm or hurricane. We're under a tropical storm warning currently. We'll take a break, get some messages, and on the other side of the break we will try to establish contact with the V4 North MP and Minister for Health, Honorable Moses Musa Jabaptiste. We hope to hear from him after this next break. Stay tuned. This is Hurricane Watch. Stick with us.
We need to be together and support each other.
Stay safe. May God bless us. May God protect all of us.
We must pay special attention to our elderly, our sick, and our bedridden.
in times like this, let us show concern for each other and be each other's keeper.
It is at this time that our compassion, generosity, and love as a people must be extended to one another, particularly to the vulnerable.
Bienvenue une fois encore pour rester puis nous à la station télévision NTN. Nous avons mené information à la situation cyclone Beryl avec nous les nations savent exactement qui manière est passé et nous avons aussi point rapport différents communes c'est maintenant qui est responsable avec peut-être tout à l'heure nous avons ouvert pour l'autre monde prier nous mais à moment ça là nous c'est même parlement pour notre vie fort avec celui qui ministère qui est responsable pour les affaires santé des affaires grand monde avec bien importantement qu'on nous a dit en anglais wellness ça c'est Moses Jean-Baptiste. Bienvenue monsieur Jean-Baptiste, bonjour, comment vous êtes?
Yes, bonjour. Est-ce que vous entendez bien parce que ma voix bien là il y a un reverb écho.
Ah, ok. Nous avons essayé de ranger ça, mais nous attendons peut-être tout ça, ou pas de temps qu'on va parler, il va venir plus mais. Qui manière la situation est pour?
Eh bien, situation, moi, ça dit presque contre toute cette ici. Situation, c'est une situation que nous avons gardée. Nous avons gardé, nous avons levé. Et moi, il y a présent, comme ça, moi, j'ai interviewé pour notre en place Pio, et moi, j'ai levé à Titac, à délai, avec temps, Noé, presque tout partout à cette liste. Il a pris de temps en temps. Mais moi, j'ai parlé avec monde qui sorti en divers parts communes. Moi, j'ai parlé avec M. Dwayne Edward, qui est chef des disaster committee for North, avec pour présent, nous pouvons jouer une pièce rapport. Si c'est ça nous a créé avalanche, nous pouvons jouer une pièce rapport pour à présent, nous passons pour plus tard. Et nous allons continuer de tout le monde pour être dedans avec SP, ou même quand dans les stations, pour SP all clear, qu'on a dit, pour officier, mettre office au Benimo, et officier gouvernement dit que tout bagaille all right. Mais je voulais aussi un petit rapport à les affaires, c'est l'hôpital là, les affaires, c'est les places santé qui ont été ouvertes. Aussi, aussi à tourner quand nous jeunes pièces difficultés. Avec, moi, quand c'est docteur, c'est nurse là, c'est officier, mais là, pour mon secrétaire, qui ont tout, qui ont été, l'histoire pour garder, on est aller avec pour bailler rapport, aller à groupe chat anonyme, pour construire à aller, pour bailler rapport, qui fait, au lieu de payer cette ici, c'est l'hôpital là. Avec moi, ça doit présent qui, nous pas tenir action en Gozile polyclinique, à l'histoire, il y a un patient, avec c'est pour le soir. Saint-Jude même pas tenir, chaque activité, merci bon Dieu. C'est plus gens COPD, il a apporté qui, il a dit les vêtements, monde qui, peut-être, ni brisé, pour prendre l'expiration, yo. L'hôpital d'Henry, il y a l'histoire, 7 patients, et il y a une raison pour y ouvrir Mounsala au King U Hospital parce qu'il était blessé. Et Mounsala, il y a ouvert au King U l'hôpital. Comfort B aussi, Comfort B, c'est pas déjà ou bagaille pour apporter. Avec Soufouye, il y a 4 patients. Avec encore, il y a une qui est COPD, qui est pour point K. Avec mon ministre santé qui a travaillé à VG Sports Complex côté moun qui peut-être paniqué avec bail contact yo te mené yo là ek la yo ni 25 moun la ni moun la toujou ek la ni staff ministre nou ka pran kayo ek la ni lot staff lot ministre aussi avec ça c'est rapport qu'on savent nous te tient l'hôpital ouvert souffrir toujours ouvert comme ça souffrir était là avec aussi GIPC c'est Gozile et chaîne ouvert pour soir avec St. Jude avec Owen King European Union Hospital OKEU et by notice avant comme là pour dire qui manière yo te kay opérer avec ces docteurs ces nurses là tous les décès l'hôpital ça là qui fait plus effort là c'est des monde qui sorti était là tout soir même si on pas pour travail et on venu pour aider l'emergency by comme ça c'est comme ça qu'a fait pour ça c'est situation généralement pour affaire santé nous ca des monde pour prendre précaution parce que quand on même ca dit avec côté officiel ca dit bagay là pas encore fini avec janvier for note nous avons une commission bon matin aussi pour dire qui bagay là pas encore fini ça parler pour nous aller dehors avec bagay comme ça même si nous bagay là pas garder pour à présent pas ça pour ita parce que délai là ni moun depuis va pas Jeff Ford ba yo dehors yo kay marcher tout partout si pas emergency nous garder tout le monde écouter radio écouter télévision ko même yé frère Gaspard frère Riani madame là qui était là à plus bonheur écouter ces monde ça là c'est écouter mettre office pour ça sérieux parce que là ni monde il pas capable penser bagay ça juste sérieux ça c'est l'année Adam monde ça c'est les yo vle dehors fait différents bail comme ça c'est comme ça situation que nous regarder toujours moi même en dire kay moi toujours ça fait téléphone service téléphone pour contacter divers mon emergency comme ça pour gagner bail la calé so moi kadi nous regarder toujours avec merci pour opportunité ma ça c'est la question de vraiment
Quitter Riani parler ba anglais.
Before I let you go, Mr. Minister, I'm just curious, have you had any or made any contact with the DDC in your area